making apple streusel cake. It is my first time making this recipe. I have these gala apples that I need to get rid of, and my only solution is to bake them into a dessert because they're just not very sweet to have by themselves right now. So we'll see how it goes. We're going to be starting with lining the cake pan. In regards to the cake pan, I used this circle one. I think it might be a little bit too big, but I'm still just going to line it with parchment paper. I'm just going to cut the parchment paper, make sure that it fits into the circle pan, and then I am going to move on to the next step. We are using 2/3 cup flour, 1/2 cup brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 4 tablespoons of butter softened. So I left the butter out for quite a while now, so it's room temperature, it's softened. So I'm going to combine the brown sugar, the cinnamon, and the flour. The next step is making the apple filling. So first I'm going to take out some brown sugar. I am using light brown sugar. And then next I'm going to be adding my flour. So I am using 1/2 cup brown sugar, 1 1/2 tablespoons of flour, 1 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1 1/2 cups of diced apples. So that's around like 2 to 3 apples. For me it was 2 apples. Then I'm gonna dice and peel these apples. You know, truth be told, I have more apples sitting in my fridge that need to be used. So this recipe really didn't use that many apples. Or maybe I should have just added it, but I didn't. Okay, so for the next step, we are making the coffee cake batter. What we're going to be starting off with is gathering the ingredients. So I will be using 1 3/4 cup flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 6 tablespoons butter, 1/3 cup sugar, 1/4 cup brown sugar, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 3/4 cup buttermilk if you're feeling fancy. I added the flour, the baking powder, the baking soda, and salt to a bowl, and then I stirred that and I set it aside. And then I had to add the butter and sugar to a separate bowl, also mix that. So I creamed the butter and the sugar for a couple minutes until it was like light and fluffy. So I think I finally understood or got the technique of creaming. I think the thing that changed it this time for me was the butter, like how soft it was. I don't think previously I've had butter softened to the point where like I could cream it. Next, I am adding the egg and the vanilla to this and stirring it so that everything is mixed. And then I add about half of the dry ingredients to combine it, which is the flour, the baking powder, the baking soda, the salt. And then I continue mixing while adding some buttermilk. And then I finally add the dry ingredients, all of the flour that I didn't add previously, and then I just stir until everything's combined. Now I have to assemble and bake it. And I think during this part, the batter was super hard to, I guess, spoon around or maneuver. It was getting stuck to my spoon, as you can tell. But basically I had to pour a little more than a half of the batter into the prepared pan and then like try to spread it into even layer, which was so difficult. I then put the apple filling in the middle, right? And then I put another layer of batter over the apples so that it would smooth out and cover it to an even layer. And finally, I topped it off with streusel topping and I just pressed it gently into the batter. And then I popped it in the oven for 30 minutes.
A few moments later.
I'm nervous. It looks like it's not evenly. Well, let's see. Let's try it. Ooh, look at that crumble. So first impressions are, that's good. Damn. This is good. I'm only here for the topping, man. And the apples, I wish I put more apples. I want to cut another piece where there's more apples. Oh! Oh! I just lost my whole cake. I have nothing to say besides, wow.